So what I was taught about non-Jehovah's Witnesses, that means a majority of the world as we know it. First of all, I found that while I was taught that everybody who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness wasn't happy. I quickly found out that this wasn't the case. I suppose in my early teens I came to realise that actually people outside the Jehovah's Witnesses could be happy. I was taught different. I was taught that if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, your happiness is just an illusion. It's fake. All I had to go on was my home life. And my home life wasn't happy. Therefore, all I could do was consider my surroundings and my peers and see what they were up to. And ultimately, they were having a good time. I wasn't. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in the congregation, and I wasn't happy to accept the idea that everyone outside the congregation wasn't happy, because I'd seen that they were. My dad certainly wasn't happy. My mum wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. My sister wasn't happy. There was massive conflict in my home. My house was full of animosity. My home life was full of animosity from the time I was born. All I can remember is arguments, constant friction, constant conflicts, and underlying depression, unhappiness, sadness, despair. You name it, as a child I experienced it, and this is because I was brought up as a Jehovah's Witness. I think that being a Jehovah's Witness is a curse. Much to my parents' dismay, I suppose, if they get to see this video, they'll see that I have decided to stand outside that circle and look inward. And looking inward means to analyse. And analyse what goes on. Well, it's coming to the light now. I had a study with a friend of my dad, who was, of course, a Jehovah's Witness. He was an elder. I studied the Bible Teach book with him. I studied The Greatest Man. I studied the Revelation book. You know the story if you've been there. Eventually, probably about 3 years ago, I think he got this fellowship. This is kind of ironic, given that he was of such high standing within the congregation and a friend of my dad's. I used to question my dad on things, and I used to say to him, so what about the people who are good? What about the people who actually make an effort in life and do things, charitable events, give themselves to, serving humanity and shit like this? I said, where do they stand according to your standards? And he said, they're going to die. I said, so would you like to be the executioner? Would you like to take a gun and execute all these people, stand them up in a row, and pop, 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 there goes the bullets and there goes the life? He's never really answered me on that question, because I don't think he can, because that's ultimately God's role. God's role is to exterminate, according to the Jehovah's Witnesses, those who don't fit into the faith or adhere to his rules. I couldn't get my head around this, because I could see many good people who I didn't think deserving to die, yet I could see many in the congregation who I thought actually maybe they could be deserving of the celestial guillotine. It is what it is. Once you're a Jehovah's Witness, your life is pretty much fucked. Because of the Jehovah's Witnesses, I have been through so much chaos and animosity. I can't forget what I've been through, and all I want to do is help people who have been through a similar experience. My experience, unfortunately, isn't unique, and as far as I can see, so you have to excuse me, it's quite difficult to talk about these things, to be honest. I've only just started doing it the past few days. Anyway, this is a video about an ex-Jehovah's Witness searching for some solace, some comfort, and some support within a time of need. I want to be happy, and so do many of you. And if you've had a life as a Jehovah's Witness, or you've been born, especially those who've been born into it, like myself, happiness is an elusive concept. but I'm sure that we can achieve it if we try hard. I'm not going to say much more. I'm not going to say any more on this video, in fact, because I think I've done enough. I've said a lot. I've produced, God, fucking 5 videos over the past day, and I'm tired. All I want to do is get these videos out to people who have been involved with the organisation, who see it what it is and recognise it as an assault on yourself, who you are, your conscience, your morality, your personality, everything you do. Once you've been indoctrinated, it's extremely hard to get out. Even though I am not a Jehovah's Witness by any means, and I'd never go back, the concept is still there, and it's still deep within my soul. So, so there we are. Anyway.